All right, folks, good morning. So the reason why our quizzes are not graded is because after yesterday's awesome workshop day, where there was some really good math conversations, I looked at these quizzes and I saw places where there were some big mistakes that as of yesterday, I think we would not make a second time. So right now, we are going to trade and grade. So pick a buddy near you, trade. We're going to go question by question. What's right is right. If they left it totally blank, take notes for them. If it's in pen, they'll see the difference. If you're doing pencil, make sure you put your comments or feedback in a box. On our agenda today, we are continuing to practice. I'm going to put on the back burner checking pages because we've had some really good conversations about the math. So I may check them tomorrow instead. After our peer grading activity, what's next on the agenda? What does it say on number 3 on the agenda? New quiz. So this one will be no help, no notes. This is our time to really harness all of the great conversations from yesterday, any questions you may have on this, and we are going to rock out our new exponents quiz. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 said 3x to the negative 4. What needs to happen here? Tell me. Look at what your person did. If they did it right, share with me what you think they did right, or tell me your idea. What has to happen here? X to the negative 4 needs to move. What stays in the numerator? What's in the denominator? If it's right, mark it correct. If they needed help or they got something wrong, please write in the correct work for them so they get your feedback. Number 2, 2x to the 7th times x times 5x to the 3rd. I heard 10x to the 11th. How'd you get 10? No, this 10 right here. 2 times 5, and how we get 11? What might somebody have done by accident? Just 7 and 3, which makes 10, but we have this other x right here. From this point forward, if you ever see something like this present, even if this was like in parentheses, raised to a power, I want your first thought to be, I can simplify this. It's going to come up on the quiz today, where there's a moment where instead of immediately sending things in, sending in a power, you can do a little work on the inside. So if you see this on the inside, we've got skills, right? We can use our tools to simplify. Yes, sir. Go ahead and take notes on a separate piece of paper. Number 3. So again, if number 2 is right, mark it right. If they needed help, help them out. We have 2x squared y raised to the 4th power. Under the tray, right there. Underneath, under, by the highlighters, to the right. What is this going to be, folks? 2 to the 4th, x to the 8th, y to the 4th, which equals? 16x to the 8th, y to the 4th. If your person put 8 here by accident, what did they do wrong? They multiplied 2 times 4. If x to the 8th and y to the 4th is correct, that's only minus 1. Number 4. Wait, so if you want to redo the right work, okay. R to the negative 5, r to the 4th, divided by r to the 3rd. Talk to me. What happens first? You have to bring down r to the negative 5. Do I circle anything else? No. No. What's staying up top? R to the 4th. Divide by? R to the 3rd. Times r to the Good. I'm going to pause right there so you can catch up on your person's paper if needed. R will be There are 4 R's here. Very good. 1 has to stay there as a placeholder. How many R's are left in the denominator? So 1 divided by R to the 4th. If someone put R to the 4th, that's only half credit. It's a completely different answer. So for example, did anybody's person put this as the answer? All right. Give me a number 1 through 10. 8. I heard 8 first. Imagine I had 8 right here. How much money is that? $8. If I did this and I said 1 divided by 8, is that the same amount of money? That's an eighth of a dollar. That's less than 20 cents. It can be a decimal. But yes, we're talking cents, yes, instead of dollar bills. So some people are like, but it's just a 1. Well, that 1 means a lot. It has to be exactly 1 divided by R to the 4th. So if somebody put R to the 4th by accident, that's half credit. Number 5. 4x squared, y to the 3rd, x to the 5th, all divided by 8, x to the 9th, y. What are we thinking first?
We're thinking about comparing like terms.
What can we simplify across? You're right.
X to the 2nd, x to the 5th. That'll be x to the 7th.
How do you get 7?
This time
We're multiplying, so we add the powers. What can we do with 4/8 at the same time?
we can divide by 8. No.
Divide by 8? 4 goes into itself how many times? So this 4 becomes a 1. This 8 becomes 2. Another way of thinking of that, 4/8 simplifies to be 1/2. Before we look up and down, I like the idea of looking across. So we talked about how x squared and x to the 5th becomes x to the 7th. Y to the 3rd will stay. What do I have in the denominator? 2x to the 9th. Good job. Don't drop the 2. 2x to the 9th. Y. Now we can work on the x's. What happens with these x's?
You have to subtract them because you're dividing that.
So tell me what's left and where.
So it would be x to the 2nd on the bottom, and then it would be y to the 2nd.
So his reasoning, as he was telling me that out loud, what he's thinking is that 7 of these x's cancel with 7 of the 9, leaving how many down there? 2. And then here I had how many y's? I had 3 of them originally, canceled with 1 in the denominator, leaving how many behind? 2. So what's my final answer? So based on how they did, is it all the way right? Is it half right? Or is it -1? (2m squared n to the 4th divided by 4m n to the 3rd, all raised to the 3rd power. So this is a great example of where technically I could go send in this, read everything. But can I work on the inside first? Yeah. What can we do? So 2/4 turns into 1/2. Awesome. New voice. What happens next? Someone who wasn't sure how to do this, talk to me now. What are we thinking? Yes, we're going to have to take care of the m's. So m squared divided by m, what happens? Just m where? Very good. A single m here cancels with 1 of the 2, leaving 1 behind. Good, because all 3 of these are gone. Cancels with 3 of the 4, leaving a single one, a single n behind. So now what's left inside this fraction? Is anything else left? All raised to the third power. Is it way easier to send in 3 to this than 3 to this? Yes. So that's the power of simplifying first, then sending in the power. So everybody work on sending in 3 right now. So what's that going to look like? Someone else take it over. New voice. Careful. 2 to the third. Is 2 to the third 6? No. What is it? 8. So here's our final answer. If it's right, right. If it's right, mark it correct. If not, give them some feedback. Show your partner as of right now how they've done on 1 through 6. This M right here? It didn't need to. There was no negative exponent. If that had a negative exponent, then I would have moved it. Number 7. I can't stress this enough. Do not change the base. I've said it a bazillion times today. It's still happening. What's the base here? I know, it's going to be a trillion. It's still going to happen. What's the base here? 3. I should not see 3 becoming a 9 or 3's becoming 27s. This becomes 3 to what power? Okay, so now that I've applied as many properties as possible, now I can say what's 3 squared? 9. But that's my final answer. You see the difference? Until you are all the way done applying every single property possible, do not change the base. Yes. Number 8. 5/6 raised to the negative 3. What happens here? So let's send it in first. 5 to the negative 3, 6 to the negative 3. Then you're saying what has to move? Both. So here's a good conversation. If this had been like 3, can everybody eyes on the screen? Number 7. If this had come out to be like 3 to the 10th power, I would be fine with you leaving it as 3 to the 10th. Do you know what 3 squared is? I know that that's 9, right? So if it's a small enough power that you can take it one more step, take it one more step. Case in point, do we know what 5 to the third is? 125. So if you can do that, but you're not sure about 6 to the third, do 6 to the third. If it was 6 to the 8th, would I expect you to do 6 to the 8th? No, that you could leave. So use judgment. It's not going to use like good judgment about what you leave and what you don't leave. Typically, if the power is less than 5, we do it out. So what is 6 to the third? But again, if this had been like 6 to the 8th and 5 to the 8th, I would expect you to be done right there. You see the difference? So small powers actually do it out. Did that answer your question? If the powers are small, work it out at the end.
Okay, but like I was just asking because like before I ended in there or whatever, I asked you if I could do that. And then you said yes, so that's how I was asking. Like 3 squared versus 9.
Yes. So initially, I said let it be, but as we kind of grow our knowledge, 3 squared can be 9 as a final answer.
Yeah.
So just to stress this, guys, if you see something like this, what does that equal? 2 to the 5th, because what's 8 plus a negative 6? 2 plus 3? 5. You would get the same answer if this had moved to the denominator. You added 8 and 3 and then subtracted. You have options. My strongest point I'm trying to make here, do I do 2 times 2 times 2 is 8? No. You started with what as a base? And what is still the base? Good. Last one to talk about, number 9. I heard everybody say the answer. What is it? 1. Because that entire thing is raised to what power? Careful, not multiplied by 0. If you multiply by 0, what's the answer? 0. But anything raised to the 0 power is 1. Now, question, if I had something like this, only this, good job, only this is 1, because it's y to the 0 on the inside piece. See that? I don't have the 0 on the whole outside of the parentheses. So the entire piece only equals 0 if 0 is on the outside of the entire expression. Yes? Awesome. Take a second, and I'm going to give you a shot at being me for about 2 minutes and actually grade these quizzes. So do they get full credit, partial credit, no credit on the questions? You're going to get a total points out of 36 and get me a percent. I obviously am going to go back and check everyone's evaluation of their peers' work for accuracy, but take a shot. So if it's all the way right, they earn full credit. If it's half right, they earn how many points?
For every single one of them,
Yep.
the whole thing.
Well, each question is worth 4 points.
Miss, what about number 4? If they just got that R to the 4th over 5 to the 5th.
That would be half credit.
They did the work for every single one of them, but they were right. Well, some of them, they weren't right.
So partial credit versus half credit. If it's literally half done or half right, -2. If it was more than half right and they just made a small mistake, -1. Hi, welcome to my world. So give it a shot. Obviously, I will go back and I'll check what you say for points. Yes.
Partial credit, if they did the work wrong.
Yes.
So, what is that, -2?
So right now we're collecting the quizzes. You just finished grading for your partner, and I will be looking over those and getting them back to you. We are now ready to take a new exponents quiz. This will be no notes, no help. So clear your desks. The only thing you might have out is a calculator if you choose to use one. Have confidence, folks. You know how to do this. Yes, you do. The same properties, gentlemen, the same properties apply to every single question, no matter what it looks like. The properties don't change. Is there something you could simplify on the inside? Is there something you can multiply? Are there negative exponents that you could move? The process does not change. Quizzes count. So folks, quizzes are out. Let's not talk. Eyes here for a moment. So when you finish the quiz, you're going to turn it into the black bin right here. The homework worksheet for tonight is right next to it. And what's nice is that on the back are the answers, so that as you're working on this practice set, you can check your answers as you work. So as soon as you're done, drop it off. We're going to have a good rest of class, nice and quiet, so everybody can have the time they need to take their quiz. Nice job today. The notes that we just went over for the quiz will be posted to Google Classroom.